Okay, guys. So first of all, thank you very much for attending my webinar training today. How to easily make 6 and 7 figures a year doing simple joint ventures, and basically that's all it is. And I'm going to take you through some really cool training today, and also some cool case studies showing you what I've been up to, and also a lot of my students and clients are doing using joint ventures, and just really how powerful they really are. You can use within your own business, or you can use just to make 6 and 7 figures alone, just actually doing them. So if we get started, first of all, a brief background to myself, and for those of you who don't know me, my name is Sahel Khan. I'm known as the world's top joint venture expert. If any of you have heard of a guy called Jay Abraham, one of my mentors, he worked with a guy called Mark Goldman, and they quoted me as a true rags to riches super success story. It's like Andrew Carnegie. Jeff Mills, another marketer, gave me the name of the Master Connector, and I'll take you through exactly why I'm known also as the Master Connector. I've achieved over $50 million using joint ventures, and I'm going to take you through a couple of case studies showing you exactly how I've done that and how you can actually copy that also. I'm an international speaker. We'll be charging $15,000 a keynote. I used to do a lot of platform speaking a few years ago. Before that, I did a lot of keynote. But nowadays, I speak at conferences around the world on the topic of strategic partnering and joint ventures. I'm the only Brit ever to be invited to speak about JVs in the US, which still to this day is pretty cool. So I do enjoy coming over to the US regularly to do my trainings, my boot camps, and obviously to speak as well. It's such a cool place. I'm the creator of the Joint Venture Brokering Bootcamp, which I'll tell you more about later in the training. And also, I'm the author of Guerrilla Marketing and Joint Ventures with my late great mentor, Jay Conrad Levinson, who passed away just over 2 years ago. So, what will I be covering today in this webinar training? I'm going to be talking about, first of all, the real power of joint ventures and why I love joint ventures. I mean, I am probably the biggest advocate of joint ventures on this planet, and that's all I do, and that's all I talk about. So you'll never hear me talk about anything else apart from joint ventures. I'll also talk about the benefits of being a joint venture broker, a joint venture consultant, or a deal maker, why it's so lucrative, especially now in the current economy. Then I'm going to do some training, okay? I'm going to help you guys implement some of this training. And to be honest with you, some of the training that I'm going to be covering today is exactly the same training that attendees on my $10,000 boot camp, my 3-day daily broker boot camp, get access to. So this is exactly the same training that they have access to. So this is going to be very cool. I'm also going to take you through how to contact joint venture partners. So first of all, how to find targeted joint venture partners, how to contact joint venture partners. I'm also going to cover how to connect with millionaires and billionaires and thought leaders. This is something that I've done for many years, and it really helps with your credibility and your expert status as well. And and they're such cool people to work with as well. I've worked with many of them over the past years. We're also going to look at how to create 6 and 7 figure joint ventures. Again, I'm going to go over some really cool case studies. I'm also going to touch upon how to use social media for joint ventures. You know, a lot of what we do is utilizing a lot of the internet and social media, especially now, to create joint venture deals and find joint venture clients. So I'm going to be touching upon that also. Okay, first of all, something that I believe, and I've always believed, is one of the world's most powerful business strategies, bar none, is joint ventures. So people always ask me, first of all, what is a joint venture? Okay, well, a joint venture is basically really just an arrangement of mutual benefit between 2 or more people or businesses who have complementary resources. Now, you're probably asking me, so what does that mean? Now, what that actually means is, let's say for example, you have a bathroom tile manufacturer and a luxury bathroom suite manufacturer. Now, these 2 companies see each other as competitors, okay, because they're competing in the same space. But what they don't realize is they have complementary resources, which is the same customer base. So someone like myself can either go and teach them how to implement and create joint ventures and partner together to double their business overnight because they have access to the same customer base. Okay, so they can cross promote each other. When there's more than two or more people in a joint venture, the third person is normally known as a joint venture broker or a joint venture consultant, which is a lot of what I do, or a lot of my consultants do. So it's our job really to help them come together to form a strategic partnership and benefit from that. And at the same time, we benefit also by making a commission fee and sometimes a retainer structure from it as well. So joint ventures are everywhere. It's one of the quickest ways to start up a business, and I'm going to talk more about that later. How we literally started a brand new business in Dubai. We were actually living in Dubai, in the Middle East, without knowing anything about the market, the culture, the people. And we set up a publishing company actually, which we sold not too long ago, from scratch using partnering because it's a very cool concept. And also how you could generate leads for free using joint ventures. A lot of people are using Facebook ads, Google ads, spending a lot of money generating leads. I'll show you a way basically that you can generate leads for free. Okay, literally free on the front end. You're paying nothing to generate those leads. It's all being generated via joint venture partners. So it is very much a very powerful business strategy. And actually, before we go on, I'd like to see a show of hands. For all of you guys on this webinar right now, can you just give me a yes in the chat box if you're actually currently using joint ventures right now? And actually, also you can also say no if you want to, if you're not using joint ventures. This would be interesting to find out how many people actually are using them. Okay, Josh says not yet. Kira says yes. George says yes. John says no. Sarah says no, not yet, but I'd like to learn how to do more. Vaughan, hi Vaughan. Vaughan says no. Jim, hi Jim. Jim says in the process of starting one. So okay, good. So a lot of you guys who are here obviously want to find out how to implement and use joint ventures successfully. That's great. This is a good indication of how many people actually already have an idea of doing a joint venture, which is very cool. Okay, brilliant. So I've got another question for you guys. What do you think is a business's most valuable asset? So I want you to put in the chat box right now, before I reveal what the answer is. What do you think is a business's most valuable asset? So just type in the chat box, what you think a business's most valuable asset is. I'd be interested to see this. But Josh says client list. Carl says contacts. Kirill says clients. Josh says or contracts. John says customer database. Okay, yes. Jim says hot customers. Sarah says the customer loyalty. Okay, yes. Mike says client list. Okay. All right, cool. Okay, so a lot of you are saying a customer database and client list, which is really cool. So the business's most valuable asset. I mean, have you ever heard the term "the money is in the list"? Okay, but here's the thing: the money is not only in the list; it's in the relationship that you have with that list, okay, or with the customers. So the relationship between a business owner and customers is the most valuable asset that can be leveraged, okay? Because here's the thing: when a business is sold, that's the asset that's valued on the balance sheet, right? And I'm going to give you a few numbers here. It costs 6 times as much to sell to a new buyer, okay? So if you're generating leads, for example, for generating new buyers, it costs 6 times as much for that, okay? But selling to that same customer, so once you've acquired the customer and you've had that cost up front, once you sell again to that customer, it's pure profit because now you've covered your initial outlay, right? But here's the thing: if you're using somebody else's list, it costs you nothing, right? So you're not spending to generate that buyer. The buyer is already there. The buyer is basically in someone else's list. So if you're generating that lead, that buyer from other people's lists, is costing you zero upfront. Okay, so this is the power of joint ventures. This is how powerful the concept of joint ventures is, right? So this is why it's very, very cool. And the thing is, more of the profit is yours because there's no advertising costs. So one of the things that I do, right, when I go and see clients or I work with new clients, or what my consultants do or my brokers do when they go and work with clients, is one of the things that we aim to do is bring their advertising costs down to zero by getting them to do more joint ventures, right? So our main aim really is to bring down their advertising costs or whatever they're spending on marketing up front down to zero, right? Because what we could do to help them is create joint ventures and strategic partnerships for them, which would obviously cost them nothing up front. Okay, so we eventually bring down the advertising costs. This is why it's so powerful to implement joint ventures in your business. Okay, let's look at the benefits of some of the benefits of using joint ventures. So joint ventures are really cool because they allow you to compensate weak areas in your business without the normal investment. So let's say, for example, you are a business that needs to grow and expand, and you need to take on investment for a call center, for example. Now, one of the things that you can do is you can approach another company that has a call center or has an infrastructure that's not being utilized and actually borrow that infrastructure, okay, through a joint venture partnership. Have them make the sales for you or use that infrastructure and then just pay them a revenue share, okay, without actually having to invest in that infrastructure, okay? So you can actually borrow someone's infrastructure and pay them a revenue share or a profit split as a joint venture partner, okay, without actually having to invest in the infrastructure yourself. It also allows you to take unlimited advantage of unlimited complementary skills and resources. Basically what that means is once you've done one joint venture, you can actually go out and do the same joint venture again and again and again. Okay, it's basically you have a license basically to go out and run the joint venture as many times as you want. It also allows you to boost your lead and client generation profits quickly. I'm going to give you a few case studies on how we've done this with clients and how I've also done this myself. And it allows you basically to generate leads and generate clients and profits very, very quickly without a nominal upfront investment. It also allows you great branding potential for free. Now, I was virtually unknown a few years ago, but I collaborated with a lot of thought leaders, millionaires, and it put me in a position where I became actually one of the top experts in joint ventures today through collaboration and strategic partnering with the right people in the right industry. It also allows you to make money out of thin air. Now, this is no joke. People mention this, that you can make money out of thin air doing joint ventures, and I'm going to prove that to you today and show you exactly how I've done it and how a lot of my clients and students are doing it day in, day out, using the power of joint ventures and strategic partnering. So I just want to touch upon the benefits of being a JV broker, consultant, or deal maker. This is something that I do, and I've been doing this for a very long time. And I also train brokers and consultants around the world to do the same thing. And it's just one of the most amazing things that you can get involved in by doing this. As a JV broker, we make lots of money just by being middlemen. That's all we are. We don't need to spend years building our customer lists or even creating our own products, which is really, really cool. We don't need to keep track of sales, chase people for money owed, or fulfill products or fulfill the orders. Our clients and our JV partners do that. All we do is we just step in, we leverage other people's resources, and we make huge profits by bringing people together. So brokering is really, really good. A lot of what I do is a combination of brokering and consulting. And we do a lot of deal making as well for clients. We generate deals for them. It's some very cool stuff that you can do, and literally requires you to have nothing and have the ability to travel the world and not be fixed to a desk. Okay, which is pretty cool. So I'll talk more about that later. But that's some of the benefits of getting involved in joint ventures on the high level as a JV broker or a consultant or deal maker. Okay, so what I want to do quickly is just touch upon my background of why I'm qualified to be able to tell you this, and also teach and train and implement this as well. If it's okay with you, I'd like to just share quickly, my background and my story of how I got where I am today. So this is me in 2006. I built a very successful 8-figure business using joint ventures, and I finally became very successful. I lived in the big Georgian mansion that I always wanted. I had all the cars and the shiny red Ferrari, something that I always wanted when I was a kid, and I managed to achieve that. Alongside having a Porsche and a Bentley also. But the Ferrari, I think, was for me was the was the top of my list of things that I wanted to achieve um, in that short space of time. So that was in 2006. Then in 2008, during the dreaded recession, I lost everything. I was totally broke. It was a very, very hard time for me. I went through a lot of depression and had to really find myself and get myself back on my feet. Now, I was very, very fortunate, very fortunate. Speaking around the world, I met so many people who have struggled after losing so much. I lost millions, and it's hard. It's not easy at all to get back on your feet. But I was very, very blessed, and I was very, very lucky that in 2009 I completed a seven-figure JV deal in 30 days. That got me back on my feet, and I think that was really the turning point for me in my life. And it's put me where I am today, and I thank God for everything that He's done for me and my family, of course. And I just want to prove to everyone that there is always a way. There's always opportunities. You've got to take those opportunities by the hand. You've got to be persistent and you've got to follow through. Okay, it's so important to do that. And just keep pushing yourself to the goal that you want to achieve. So quickly, if we go back where it all started. Now, my background was basically I was trained as an accountant, and I spent a lot of time in the accountancy firm, not being happy in terms of what I was doing there, and I knew there was another path for me to do something else. So I left that job as an accountant. I pursued a career in IT, information technology, and I set up a very small um, computer training company, an online computer training company, and that's where it all started for me. And in 2000, actually at the end of 1999, just before 2000, when the dot-com bubble burst and we had Y2K, I was doing a lot of consulting before then, and that was my main bread and butter. And when we lost a lot of clients, I was running a very small website selling computer training PDF courses, which actually turned out to be the business that I built to 8 figures. And it all started from a little book called How to Get Everything You Can Out of All You've Got by one of my mentors, Jay Abraham. That book turned everything around for me and really put me into a mindset where I started thinking more about the power of joint ventures. And in 2000, in early 2000, I did my first joint venture deal, and I approached an IT recruitment agency, one of the biggest in Europe, and I basically sent them a proposition. I sent them an email saying that if I could help you increase your revenue and your profit without increasing your overhead, would you be interested? And they said yes. So that one email really sparked everything off for me, and there I was working with this IT recruitment agency. I went to go and see them, and I asked them the question, how many people did you have in your database? They had over 100,000 IT professionals, and at that time the economy was on a downward trend, and people weren't employing IT professionals. So I said to them, I've got this small website. We sell computer training courses. Would you be interested in partnering with me and sending an email to your list, for example, and promoting our courses, and we would give you a percentage? Now, one of the things that they were doing, every fortnight they were sending out a newsletter to their list, but not selling anything. So all we did was we put a banner in their existing newsletter, so there was no increase in their overhead, and they would send this banner out, this in the newsletter to their list, and it was pretty phenomenal. You know, in our first year of this small computer training website that we had developed, I think we did just something like $70,000. In the second year, with just one JV partnership, our turnover went up to almost $350,000. So it was pretty phenomenal from this one joint venture deal that we did. You know, the increase in sales that we managed to achieve without really spending any money. So that was the first joint venture that I ever did, and that really got me hooked. So you know, that gives you an indication of something that you can do by approaching a large organization to partner with them. If you have any sort of training course or a coaching course, for example, there's no reason why a large organization can't utilize that and help to promote that to their database. Okay, so that was the first deal I did in 2000, which is very successful. Now, fast forward to 2002, and the landscape was changing. A lot of our competitors were doing video-based training courses. So can you believe this? Like 10, 15 years ago, video-based training was taking off. But it was so expensive to develop. And we had some costings that was costing us over $100,000. You know, $10,000 would cost per hour of video e-learning. So work it out. You know, if one course has a couple of hours of training, that's going to cost you at least $100,000 or more per course. And we had competitors that had over 150 courses. So for us, it was an investment that we couldn't make. So again, you know, with joint ventures, it's very powerful that you could approach other organizations to partner with who already have the content. Okay, so we were very lucky to find an organization in the States who had the content that we were after, and this was a licensing deal. So I reached out to the company, said, hey, we'd be interested in licensing your video-based training for UK and Europe. You know, how can we go about doing that? They wanted an upfront license fee of $100,000, and you know, for me it was like, okay, I don't really want to spend any money up front, so I literally flew to Clearwater, Florida, to do a deal with this company, and I had a meeting with the CEO, a very clever female CEO, and we did the deal. I actually convinced her that, you know, I could make you more money if you let us have access to the content instead of paying the upfront fee. So I paid her $10,000 as a goodwill payment, a deposit payment against against stock that we'd be ordering. So that was the deal we did. That was a licensing deal, and it was amazing. You know, after that deal was done, I flew back to the UK, and now we had over 160 titles all ready to go, and with our branding on there as well. And in that year, we hit 7 figures, and the cost for 7 figures, the investment, was just $10,000 for us to hit that 7 figures. So that's leverage, okay? So joint ventures utilizes, strategic alliances also utilize leverage. So one of the things that I teach a lot, and I do a lot, and my students and my clients do, is use the power of joint ventures and strategic alliances and licensing, especially to go out there and acquire the assets that we need without any nominal investment. So this brings us fast forward to where you can see right now, which is 2006. 2006, I found a company who had 500,000 customers, and they were in the computer hardware and software space. Now remember, we're computer training, okay? So we were now selling computer training to corporate companies, doing well over 7 figures with that business. And I approached this company and with a proposition again. And you guys should seriously try this. You know, something that I'm also going to give you guys is 2 things. If you stay to the end of this webinar, one is my JV checklist, and another thing I'm going to give you is my template for sending out to companies to secure them as JV partners within 7 days. Okay, so there's 2 things that I'm going to provide for you if you stay to the end of this webinar. And you know, my software will be able to tell me who stays till the end, and you guys will get the 2 bonuses. Okay, it's something that I use personally, and all my clients use as well. So I approached this company with a proposition. If I could help you increase your turnover and your profit without increasing any of your overheads, would you be interested? And again, they said yes. So I got invited to this company. They were a $160 million IT group, and I had a meeting with the chairman and the CEO, father and son, and it was an amazing building. You know, I walked into this building, and it was a glass building. They had a beautiful panoramic boardroom at the top. Obviously, the company is doing very, very well. So I got into the boardroom, sat down. In came the chairman and the CEO, and I started my pitch. And I talked about some of the joint ventures that we had done with our computer training videos. And I said, look, you guys have 500,000 customers. They buy hardware and software. I'm sure they'd be interested in learning how to use, Linux, for example, or Linux, and Microsoft. How they'd be interested in, creating their own PCs and building PCs. So that's the sort of training that we used to deliver to corporates. And I was literally 15, 20 minutes into my pitch, and the chairman got up and said, look, Sahel, we're not really interested in doing a joint venture with your company. And I was like, okay, maybe they don't like me, or maybe there's a problem here because I must have said something. So as I was getting ready to leave, the CEO stood up and said, Sahel, we're interested in buying your business. So at that time, it was a bit of a shock because we had an exit strategy another 2 years down the line. I had 2 more partners in the business, so I had to go back and have a conversation with them and say, look, guys, what do you want to do? What should we do? So we decided to sell a majority stake because they were a consumer-focused company. We were a corporate business, B2B, and they just wanted to acquire us so they could build their business-to-business division. So in 2006, I ended up selling a majority stake, part cash, part equity, and I received equity in the 160 million group. So now we were all worth 8 figures. The business was very successfully sold, and we became multi-millionaires. So that was a very, very cool day for all of us back in 2006. We've got a very successful business that ended up being sold to a very large group, and everything was fine. That was 2006. In 2007, I managed to double the business when I stood down as managing director, because now I was working on the business rather than in the business. But then my exit strategy was 2008. I was going to basically cash in on my shares, and literally not really retire, but go and live on some desert island as long as I had Wi-Fi, right? That's always the plan, yeah, as entrepreneurs. So that obviously didn't happen. In 2008, we had the dreaded recession. And basically the company, the group that bought my business, went bust. Okay, after 25 years of being in business, they decided to pull the plug, and obviously when they did that, I also ended up losing my business. But not only did I lose my business, because there were huge multi-million dollar debts to pay, we had signed guarantees with the bank. Guess what happened? The banks came after us. So a lesson learned there, guys. Be very careful when you sign any sort of guarantees with banks. We thought we were okay because the company had good collateral and cash in the balance sheet, but obviously not. So the announcement was made. We were notified the day after, and I ended up losing not only my company but everything. So that was 2008. So I ended up losing my house, all my assets, my cars, literally selling everything and liquidating it to negotiate with the bank so I wouldn't have to face bankruptcy. So there I was, totally broke, moved back to my mum's house. And it's funny because when I'm on stage and when I speak about this, I laugh sometimes because my old bedroom was still the same as it ever was when I left, because obviously my mum knew I was coming back home one day, which is quite funny. But it was a tough time for me. I went through a lot of depression. It's very tough. It's very hard when you lose everything, but then you still have the bills you have to pay, maintaining that lifestyle. So it was a hard time. And, I still remember that day when my mother told me, what are you going to do now? And I said, look, I'm already on the floor. I can't go any lower. The only place I can go is up, right? So, I sat down, I racked my brains trying to figure out what I could do to get back on my feet. And, like everyone else, I did the same. I went to these seminars and these free events, trying to find a way out, being promised, that you can make millions if you took my course or my program. But then, it hit me. I sat down one day and I thought to myself, what have I done before to get where I have? And it was joint ventures. My business took off from one joint venture. Okay, I created an 8-figure business from one joint venture. So in 2009, I set myself a challenge, basically to make $1 million in 12 months. And I was going to do 3 or 4, 5 joint ventures, deals, but I managed to do 7 figures with just one JV deal. Okay, and I'm going to tell you now exactly how I did it, and I'm going to take you through that step by step. So one of the things, guys, when you read more about joint ventures, or if you learn more about joint ventures, is something called the joint venture mindset. Okay, and when you have that, it's absolutely crazy, because wherever you look, you see potential. You see joint ventures everywhere, and most of my students they don't really complain, but they say, Sahel, after doing your program or your boot camp, for example, I see joint ventures everywhere now, even in my sleep. So it's quite funny, but it's powerful at the same time, because joint ventures, strategic alliances, partnering is so powerful. You could literally not even come to my boot camp, go through the training, read my book, and go out and do this and make money. And people have done that. Okay, so it's pretty cool that you have the ability to do that just by understanding how joint ventures work. Okay, so I was reading a Sunday newspaper, and in the Sunday newspaper there was a one-page ad for a book called How to Use Your PC in 2 hours. That book was aimed at the baby boomer market, which is like the silver surfer market, and it was the book wasn't the most interesting thing. It was how many copies they sold. Now, they sold 400,000 copies of this book, right? And that interested me because they had 400,000 buyers who had a book on how to use your PC. Now, remember, my background was video-based training. So I had an idea, and I thought, okay, what if I could provide them with video training as an upsell? Okay, so I contacted the company and I said, hey, I've got a video-based course that's based on your book, and I think it would be ideal as an upsell to the customers who bought your book. Would you be interested in having a discussion? They said yes. They initially asked me to send them a copy of the video, the DVDs, for them to have a look at. But obviously, because I didn't have it and I just pitched the idea, I managed to organize a meeting with the managing director of the company. Now, this was a $25 million publishing company, a direct mail company. And I went to the meeting, met the managing director, and the first thing he said to me was, Sahel, so look, we are interested. If this a video DVD that you have is just like the book, we'd definitely be interested in having a look at it as an upsell. So that would be really, really cool. So I went to go and see this company, and I had a discussion with them about them, doing a deal with me. But obviously, remember, I didn't have the product to start offering. So here's a lesson and a rule. You can actually go and do joint ventures without actually having a product, because if you find a company that has a distribution channel, okay, then that's really, really good. Sometimes that's the best that you can do, is lock down the distribution first, because the money is in the distribution. Okay, that's where the big money is. So if you find a distribution channel, you can easily introduce products into it very, very easily. Okay, so that's a really, really cool thing that you can do. So there I was, and the company owner said to me, he said, look, Sahel, we would really like to see this this video, this DVD video. And by the way, guys, if you're wondering, the image on the screen, it stays, it is what it is, still there with me and the car, because I'm just talking over it. Just in case some of you are wondering if I'm talking and there's no new slides, It's just on that slide at the moment because I'm talking about my story. So I went to go see this company, and they asked me to come back with the DVD. So obviously, when I left, I thought, oh, crap, they really want to do a deal. So now, here's the thing. I've got an agreement from a company that has 400,000 buyers that they would be interested in doing a joint venture with me if I had the product to promote to those customers, right? Now, what do I need to do now? I need to find the product, right? So I went out and I tried to find a DVD that would fit them, a suitable video training DVD. I went everywhere. I went to Office World. I went to Staples, but I couldn't find one. I only found companies that wouldn't even give me a discount on it, or they wouldn't do a white label branding on it for me. So I decided to go online to a website and get it made. There's several websites you have online where you can go and put a project up, and you would have freelancers who basically would create a video for you. So Elance, ELANCE.com is where I went to get this video created. I gave him a copy of the book. I said, if you can create a video course for me based on the book, that would be really cool. So they start bidding for the project. I ended up paying $500, okay, for a DVD, but it was how to use your PC in 1 hour rather than 2. So I took the DVD back, showed it to the company. They loved it. The managing director said, wow, this video is very cool. It's just like the book. And he was really, really pleased with it. And he asked me, what other videos can we produce? And I said, look, let's get this one out the door first and see what else we can do. So I asked the managing director, okay, look, numbers. Let's crunch the numbers. How many people from the 400,000 buyers do you think we could upsell this video course to? He said at least 50%. So that's 200,000. Okay, 200,000 customers. And then we had to talk about my commission. Now, they are a direct mail company. They normally work like QVC. They work on a points basis. So they work on a percentage basis. But what I said was, look, how much did you want to sell the DVD for? They said, well, we want to sell it for like $24.95. I said, well, here's the thing. Give me $7.50 for each one that you sell. And I'll give you a license to duplicate the DVD. You do all this. You do all the duplication, the promotion, the packaging. You do all that. I'll give you a license, and I'll just take $7.50. So if you work it out, $7.50 times 200,000. What does that work out to? So which is about just near about $1.5 million. So the deal was done. And I went to go and sign my agreement. And on the agreement, I put 400,000 customers that I have access to. The managing director said to me, if this works really well, we'd love to roll this out to the rest of our database. Guess how big their database was? Of customers, 1.4 million customers. So, when I talk about going from 0 to 1.4 million customers, that is exactly how I did it. So the deal was done. We ended up doing the joint venture with this company. It took us just over around 12 to 18 months for the whole project to finalize. And I'm going to share with you now the numbers. Okay, so let's look at the $1 million joint venture. This is where it all started for me, guys, and how I ended up getting back on my feet. So, first of all, I found a list of 400,000 buyers, okay, and contacted the company with a JV proposal without a product. I ended up using Elance.com to create a complimentary product for just $500. I introduced a licensed product to the list owner, making $7.50. That was my cut, okay, my commission per unit sold without handling any fulfillment. We did just over 201,462 units with that deal, and I collected just over $1.5 million in my commission. And that basically, for me, guys, really set me back on track. In 2009, 2010, almost 6 years ago, and that's where it all started for me. That's how I bounced back so quickly. So that's something you guys can easily replicate. It's very simple to put a deal like that together. So let's move on. Licensing is guys one of the most lucrative joint ventures you can do. It's something I get involved in quite a lot. Now, a lot of people say to me, okay, so have you ever done deals like that online? Now, the only sort of deals I ever do online, to be honest with you, I'm more of a offline joint venture expert. I don't do many online JVs because offline joint ventures are more lucrative, and I do enjoy working with large companies. But one of the online deals that I've done and I've brokered and been behind is a couple of seven-figure launches. For example, this is a guy called Chris Farrell who approached me to connect him with one of my friends, Mike Gilsane, a very popular internet marketer. I put these guys together. They launched something called affiliate.com a few years ago, and we did just over $4 million on that launch. Okay, so that's one of the deals that I've been involved in when I was actually in the internet marketing industry many years ago, and had a lot of fun in there as well. So doing joint ventures is very lucrative. Okay, doing simple joint ventures is very lucrative. You know, let me share with you a story how I started setting my consulting fee to $30,000 a day for one-day JV consulting. So here is where it started a couple of years ago. I had a company on LinkedIn contact me and say, look, we are, we've seen your videos, we've read your bio. Can you help us? And will joint ventures work for us? So I said, okay, what's the situation? Now, they were an insurance brokerage in New York, and they were spending over $125,000 a month on Google AdWords to generate leads for his sales team. And he said, could you help us reduce that cost? Because he said, I saw you speak in one of your videos about generating leads using JVs. I said, yeah, sure, I can. So he asked me, and remember, this is all via LinkedIn chat. He asked me, do you have any training, or is there anything that we can take? And I said, look, I do a boot camp in Vegas every quarter. It's $10,000. How many of you guys need the training? And they said, look, there's 4 of us who need training. So I said, look, if 4 of you guys come over to Vegas, I'll do a deal for you, and I'll do it for $30,000, right? So he said to me that, okay, what if you came to us? How much would it be? I said, well, it'd be the same. If I came to you, it'd be $30,000, and I would do some training for you guys. And he said, look, we just need you for one day, and we're happy to pay $30,000 for one day if you come over and help us. So I flew to New York. They paid for the flight. They put me up here. This is the Mandarin Oriental overlooking Central Park. Beautiful hotel. This was our suite. This is where we stayed. And I spent one day with them, training their team, looking at their current lead generation strategy, and showing them how to generate leads via joint ventures and helping them reduce their cost. And they paid me $30,000 for that one day. And from that day, that's been my minimum fee for a day. And I work with a lot of big Fortune 500 and 100 companies now in America. Consulting is what I do teach a lot of also. I do more consulting nowadays than I've done brokering, and it's more lucrative. I charge $30,000 for a day or $50,000 for 2 days. And, that's one of the things I teach, a system that I have that I teach a lot of my consultants how to go out and do the same. So doing joint ventures is very lucrative. Also, a few years ago, we spent some time in Paris, me and actually with my wife, with my fiance actually. And I said to her, look, if I close this deal, I'll buy you a gift. And I managed to do that when we were in Paris. I closed the deal, and I bought my wife, my fiance, a 5-figure Valentine's gift just for one JV deal. So it's really cool because you can make a lot of money from deal making, okay, and from brokering also. So it's very, very lucrative. So one of the things I wanted to share with you also was, we lived in Dubai a few years ago, and when we moved to Dubai, we lived in Thailand before that. The good thing with joint ventures is I can go anywhere in the world, and I can do joint ventures. Drop me anywhere in the world, and I could do joint ventures all day long. So we moved to Dubai, and this is where we lived on the Palm. And when we moved to Dubai, we set up a new business. And that business was very, very successful. It was a publishing company, and all we did was we partnered with conference and exhibition companies and training companies, and we created a magazine called Training Magazine Middle East, and we sold advertising space, but we partnered with the exhibitions, the conference companies, and the training companies, and launched a very successful business without knowing anything about the Middle East market. We actually connected with partners there, and we launched a very, very successful company. So that's how powerful joint ventures are. It's very, very powerful. Also, this is our holiday home in Malibu in Southern California. We lived in the US for a while. Obviously, now we've moved back to the UK for my son. He's just over a year and a half old now. And one of the reasons we left Dubai and we left the US was to come back here and settle back into the UK, which we're doing right now. But, I travel the US a lot, and this is where we end up going. We end up staying in LA, and we go to Malibu a lot. So that's pretty cool. Okay, so let's look at some super joint venture networking. Now, I was taught high level networking from this guy here, one of my really, really good friends, and I would consider him one of my mentors, Yannick Silver. First of all, can you just give me a yes in the chat box if you know Yannick Silver at all, or if you've heard of Yannick Silver? I'd be interested to see how many guys actually know who this chap is. Brilliant. Yes, brilliant. Yeah, he's a great guy. I learned so much from him. He's done some really cool things, especially with Richard Branson, one of his really, really cool friends, and they do some really, really cool stuff on Necker Island as well. So that's pretty cool. Okay, so one of the things I learned from him, and I want to teach you guys this because it's very, very important. It will teach you how to do high level networking. Was when I spent a lot of time at his event, and when I was there to help people, and I was getting approached by a lot of people at the venue to help them, but at the same time, people would come and approach me. I had one guy come tap me on my shoulder and say to me, "Look, Sahel, I know you're very, very busy, but is it okay for us to have lunch later on? I'd love to sit down and talk to you." And I would say, "Yes, that's no problem," and he would walk off. Now, what I learned from that was, if you want to get someone's attention, you've got to give them something. Okay? It's called the law of reciprocity, and it's a very, very powerful thing. There's a book called The Psychology of Influence. You might want to look up by a friend of mine. His name is Robert Cialdini, and in that he says that as human beings, we always like to reciprocate and give back to others who give to us. So one of the things I learned was how to connect at a very high level with millionaires and billionaires by actually giving them something that they value or they want in return for something that I want also. Okay, so one of the things that I realized, and I managed to use this method was with my late mentor J. Conrad Levinson. Now, one of the things that I did, people always ask me, how do you end up, doing this, getting this book published, co-authored with J. Conrad Levinson? And one of the things I did was, I met Jay. Jay was a keynote speaker. It was Jay and it was Michael Gerber. They were keynote speakers on a mastermind cruise that I was on. And Michael Gerber was impossible to reach him because of his entourage, but Jay was always the guy who would sit down and have a discussion with you and talk about life in the 60s and 70s in the ad agencies that he used to work with. And one of the things I did was, I reached out to Jay, and I knew he was very busy, and I just asked him a simple question. I said, "Jay, I know you're very busy right now. A lot of people want to meet you. Is it possible for us to sit down later on and have lunch or dinner?" And Jay said yes. So that one key thing really helped me connect with him. I ended up having dinner with him and his family in the evening. We talked about the book, and then the book was born. And before Jay passed away, the book was completed. and it became a #1 international bestseller. So the book has really been influential for me in terms of my success and my credibility. So it's the book's done really well, and I hope some of you guys have a copy of the book. How many of you guys on the webinar training right now do have a copy of my book? So give me a yes in the chat box or no. I'll put it. And for those of you guys who don't have it, I'll see if I can get a digital version sent out to you guys. And that might be another bonus I might include for you guys on the webinar today, just to say thank you. Okay, excellent. So that's one of the key things that I learned, guys. And it's something that you guys should always also go and try, because it's quite amazing, to go and do this and try some of these strategies. So back to the joint venture mindset. Okay, let's do some training now, guys. Okay, we're going to cover some training now, which is what I'm sure most of you are here for. So the mindset is very important, right? If you don't have the right success mindset, then you're going to fail. Visualization is something that I use a lot of, and my students use a lot to manifest a specific outcome that you're after, okay? And if you want to really attract the energy of opportunity, then you should use affirmations. So if you want to, you can repeat after me, I'm the right person in the right place at the right time, doing the right things with the right people. Another one I use a lot of is, I'm aware of and open to unlimited joint venture opportunities. I'm involved in the best high-level joint venture opportunities. So, this stuff really works, but you've got to put it into action, and you've also got to see yourself as adding value to others, okay? That's the most important thing about what we do. Okay, so let's look at how to find potential joint venture partners. So one of the places to look for potential joint venture partners, if you're going to go and look for potential joint venture partners, is an existing customer list, mailing list, or newsletter, okay? This is one of the best places to start because the reason is customers have already done business with that list owner, and there's a trusted relationship that can be leveraged, okay? So if you're looking for existing mailing list, customer list, or newsletters, if you're in the UK and Europe, go to highlightdms.co.uk, run by a good friend of mine, Mark Chantry. If you're in the US and Canada, use mediafinder.com. And if you're looking for newsletter lists, go to new-list.com, okay? So here's an example of a mailing list broker like Highlight. If you go to their website and you do a search for like a health list, this health list here has over 800,000 buyers, and the base price is about £120, about $150. It would cost you $150 per 1,000 names. So if you wanted the whole list, that would cost you a lot of money, right? Now, also on here, you can see that they give the list owner's website. Now I'm going to show you a way to get that list for free, okay? So hold on, and I'm going to cover that in a few minutes. Show you how to get that list for free without actually going to have to pay a list broker, okay? Okay, seminars and paid events are really cool. You can meet a lot of really cool people at seminars and paid events. Now here's the thing, guys, the higher the price of the seminar, the more players you will meet, right? And I guarantee you that. And I've done it time and time again. I used to go to free events many years ago. I even used to speak at free events, and I've stopped that many years ago. I only go to high-level events or mastermind events, okay, paid events. But the thing is, you've got to ask the right questions. Now, when you go to an event, the first question you want to ask is the icebreaker question, and that is, how did you get started as a whatever it is, okay? Whatever they are, how did they get started as? And that's a really good icebreaker question for you to get to know them and then get to know you. It basically brings you closer together. Then the next question you want to ask after that is, how can I help you sell more of your product or service? And then just shut up, just be quiet, and let them tell you what they're after or what they're looking for. Now, as consultants, as brokers, and deal makers, that's what we listen for. So we're trying to figure out, can we actually help this person, okay? And most times, they'll tell us exactly what they do. So you can also use social network sites like LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook to find joint venture partners. And one of the things that I do, and I still do, to connect with key influencers in my industry I'll promote them or I'll hashtag them, recommend them, and I'll keep doing that until they reciprocate and say, hey, Sahel, thank you for doing that. And when they come back to me, then I'll get them onto a dialogue on Skype, and that's how I connect with them. Okay, so that's how I build my connections with key influencers in my industry using Facebook. So, for example, here's a guy called Neil Asher, multi-millionaire businessman, and he says to me, thanks for your incredible generosity, Sahel, you're an inspiring man. And this is one of the guys that I really, really connected with. And I connected with a lot of thought leaders when I started off in this industry, and that's how I did it. So, this is how I've also connected with people like Kevin Harrington, good friend of mine from Shark Tank, Brian Tracy, #1 business guru, Joe Vitale from The Secret, Ken Blanchard, a one-minute manager in the corporate industry, Brendan Burchard, good friend of mine. I spoke on stage with him at an event 2 or 3 years ago. Tom Hopkins, #1 sales guru, and Robert Cialdini, of course. So this is how I connected with these guys using some of those social networking strategies. Okay. So finding potential joint venture partners, you can use Google to do the same. Now, Google's really good because it's an amazing resource for finding JV partners, and with a few tricks, you can narrow down your search results to find great opportunities using things like Google.co.uk and Google.com. So here we go. Step 1 to use Google, okay, to find joint venture partners. Write a list of keywords that most closely match your target market. Now take each keyword and do the following search to find suitable JV partners. So if you're in a personal development field, you look for personal development newsletters, type in personal development plus newsletter. If you're looking for a personal development forum, it's personal development plus forum. If you're looking for a blog, it's personal development plus blog. Now step 2. Now you have a list of results when you do that, and you want to visit the most relevant sites that are ranked. Now on the right hand side you have PPC Google ads. Those are sometimes the best to look at because they're proactively advertising, so they'd be interested in doing joint ventures with you. Okay, and if you want to find out their suitability, go to whois.domaintools.com, and that tool will tell you their Alexa ranking, whether they're blacklisted, how long they've been around, and their contact details. Now remember earlier on I told you that you don't have to pay for a broker for a list. If you find the owner of the list, the URL, go to whois.domaintools. Domain Tools will tell you who the site administrator is. Contact the site administrator personally and say, look, I know that you have 800,000 buyers in this space, in the health space. I know you're looking at actively promoting and doing joint ventures. I'd be interested in doing a joint venture with you. This is the product I have, which I think will really, really benefit your customers. Okay, so that's something you can do. I'll also provide you with a script. I'll make sure I get a copy of that out to everyone. The 7-day JV script and my JV checklist as well. You get a copy of that for staying to the end. Okay, so once you've done that, step 3 is you'll have a potential list of JV partners, and you want to put them on a checklist and rate them A, B, or C. A is the ideal partners with largest list of traffic. B is the second group of potential JV partners, and C, you let someone else contact them later. Okay. So when it comes to contacting potential joint venture partners, you can use email and online. And basically, email is practical, easy, and cheap. A great way to communicate with potential joint venture partners only when you're already dealing with them. Okay. Because most business owners, they receive loads of junk, and they don't always read proposals unless it's a strong headline. So using email and online shouldn't be your only mode of contact. Okay. FedEx or special delivery has really worked for me and my clients and my consultants and my brokers. It's one of the best ways to contact potential partners. It's professional, it really gets used, and it gets the attention, plus it gets you past the first barrier and the gatekeeper as it always gets open. Just as long as you mark it urgent, please hand deliver, okay? Which is the key to get it into the potential joint venture partner. I mean, I've had people that I know that have FedEx, sushi, or high-end sushi for a JV partner because they knew that the managing director or the CEO, that's what they like for lunch. One of the things that I used to do was I used to send some of the top business books to potential joint venture partners with an inscription, giving my details, and saying to them, thank you for what they do for the industry, and I'd love to have a conversation with them about how we can work together. Nowadays, I send my own book. I've got my own international best-selling book now, which is what I send to potential joint venture partners and potential clients. So that's what I do nowadays. Okay, contacting potential joint venture partners. If you're going to use the phone, only ever use a phone after you send a proposal out. You should also get your partners on the phone after they accept the proposal. Never use the phone to pitch, only as a follow-up. Okay, it's very important that you do that because you don't want to be bugging people, and people don't like being called on the phone, especially for sales. So here's my take on agreements and joint venture contracts. First of all, NDAs. So people like to use NDAs as it legally stops other people ripping off your trade secrets, IP, or even your entire sales process. So if you or your JV partner or your JV client has to reveal their trade secrets or IP or sales processes, then an NDA is a good idea. As for joint venture contracts, only ever start drafting an agreement once a deal has been solidified and you have a confirmation to go ahead. Okay. So let's look at some case studies now. I was going to share with you some case studies, and let's do that. So this is Kim. I met her on Mackerel Saints Cruise a couple of years ago, and we had a brief conversation over dinner about what I do in JV brokering. Kim contacted me 2 weeks after the cruise to say, look, I need to raise money for medical school. I'm working 2 or 3 jobs at the moment, and I'd love to do something that would just pay for my medical school. So we had a strategy session. I enrolled her onto one of my JV coaching programs. I also connected her with a few of my contacts, and 6 weeks later, she did her first JV deal, putting together a product owner and a big list owner. The product was a $99 a month membership site, and in her first week, she did 262 sales, making 20%. So in 1 week, she did $5,000, and then that was recurring week on week. Okay. She was then approached by a drinks company who was trying to find suitable JV partners. And she JV'd his drinks, which were, I think, high-end vodka drinks, into some of the top nightclub chains in Miami. Her cut was $35 a case, with a minimum $2,000 order commitment, which was $70,000 on her first deal. And the funny thing was, when she did that, she said to me, look, Sahel, if I'm making so much money as a JV broker, why would I want to go to medical school? And for me, it was like, hey, the last thing I want is your parents chasing me down the road with a baseball bat or a stick, saying that my daughter wanted to become a doctor and you made her into a JV broker. So I said, look, stay at school, just do JVs whenever you need the money. To be honest with you, you don't have to do it full time. I have a lot of students who do JVs part time and make money. Here's another guy, Mark. He completed one of my JV programs and was originally looking to do a small joint venture. After he had a strategy session with me, I said to him, look, joint ventures, you use the same amount of energy when you do a small JV or a big JV, so you might as well go and do a big JV. So he went through his own database, right, and found a teddy bear manufacturer on his list. He then contacted one of the largest gift suppliers in the UK with a proposal. The gift supplier ended up ordering 60,000 teddy bears in year 1, and Mark picked up his commission fee of $45,000. Now, when I asked him what it was, he said it was, I think it was Bob Marley teddy bears, so it's very specialist teddy bears, and that was the deal that he did. All he did was broker the deal, and he picked up his commission. Here's another case study. People always say to me, how quick can I make money doing JVs? Well, this is the answer. Dan enrolled on my JV broker program. After we had a strategy session, he wanted to do a quick online JV deal. So he approached one of the US's biggest IM event organizers with a proposal. He then approached me and asked me if I was willing to connect him with some JV partners, which I did. And in the 60-minute webinar, they had sales of over $50,000, and Dan picked up 25% of that as his JV commission. So you can make money quickly doing JVs if you're doing online JVs, for example, a webinar JV. This is one of my most successful students. If you might have seen his case study when you enrolled onto this webinar, the video that we did. John enrolled on my JV broker program. He was already doing big real estate deals, but wanted to learn how to put together corporate JV deals. He approached a software company in Ireland and managed to connect them with a major distribution company in the US, just a simple JV. He closed that deal at $2 million in the first year and took 15% as his broker commission. And then he closed another deal after that for $960,000 with Microsoft in Ireland. So this is one of the most successful brokers to date, and he's done very, very well. Here's another guy, Dr. Murray, enrolled on my Daily Broker program actually recently, not too long ago, in Las Vegas. He was given a JV deal on the day by me. He approached the largest distributor of sugar in the world with a product I gave him. He is close, very close actually, to closing a deal worth $5 million and picking up 15% as his JV broker commission. All this while still working full time. Okay, so it's pretty amazing what you can do with JVs whether you're working full time or not. Okay, so guys, if it's okay with you, I'd just like to tell you more about my JV Broker Business Program, which I started in 2011. Now, over 100 JV brokers have been trained worldwide by myself personally, and more JV brokers are always needed. There's so many deals out there, and there's so much business to be done. So here's a group of my students from Las Vegas. And they each paid $10,000 to attend my program for 3 days, okay, which is my standard fee that I normally charge for my boot camp. Now here's some testimonials. Having a real JV deal to work on was the main reason behind me signing up. I really made back my investment. I would never be able to become this successful at brokering JVs if it wasn't for the live training and support from Sahel. There's a really, really cool testimonial from another one of my students, Marika Allen. She says Sahel's course was a 3-day immersion into JV brokering. The way Sahel presents it is excellent because he breaks it up into segments each day. The groups are small, which is nice, and is very interactive. Sahel is so competent in this field, I just wish I could have cloned him. He really is a master and explains everything so well. When you are finished on the 3rd day, you really feel that you can do this. I really would recommend Sahel this program because Sahel really delivers from his end. It will be up to you to take action, and he's with you every step of the way. He makes it clear that the weekly calls are a must from the beginning, and that this has been great for me because it's about accountability. With other very expensive programs I purchased, it was after the course you are sent out on your own with no personal one-on-one like Sahel offers. So my program comes with all that. I'm with you all the way. I support you to make sure that you are successful, because that's what really counts for me. It's not necessarily people paying for my program, it's people actually benefiting from my program. So my next Certified JV Broker Bootcamp is being held in Las Vegas and London in August and September 2016. And it includes 3 days of live JV broker training worth $15,000, 90 days of coaching and support, handing you a JV deal. This is priceless. I actually give you a deal on day 3 to work on to make 6 figures. My JV Brokering Home Study Program, JV templates for all the agreements, and I'm also going to give you my white label client lead generation system that I use personally worth $40,000. Now this is strictly limited to 8 places, guys, and at the moment we have 7 places left for Vegas, and I think we've got 7 places also for London. So the live 3-day program is, you might want to write this down, is 26th to the 29th of August in Las Vegas, or 9th to the 11th of September in London. I'm also including something quite amazing. I'm going to provide you with a live JV deal, right? I'm going to help you get your return on your investment quickly by providing you with your very first joint venture deal on the day of the bootcamp. No need to split the money. You keep 100% of that. That's all yours, right? Because I want to do as much as I can to get you back your return on investment. Plus, I hope you get your first 9K client. Now, our clients are retainer clients, okay? And they average about $9,000 per client. And let me tell you something, you won't be paying $10,000 for this bootcamp. You'll be paying a lot less, okay? So if you're interested in this bootcamp, you won't be paying $10,000, you'll be paying a lot less. And if you're making $9,000 on one client, then that pretty much is going to give you back your investment straight away. So I'm going to help you get that return on investment by working with you over the first 90 days, mentoring you in our private group to get your first $9,000 retainer client. With just one client, you make your money back easily, okay? And there's more. I'm going to help you become an instant JV expert. How? You will get a co-authored white label version of my #1 international best-selling book. Now you've seen here that I've co-authored with J. Conrad Levinson. You're going to have the same book, but you're going to have it co-authored with me, okay? I will also include my 30k a day consulting system, which I use with my book for free. I'm going to show you exactly how I'm getting these 30 to 50k consulting gigs. I'm going to give you all my templates, all my tools, all my emails, everything that I use to get these gigs, okay? As a bonus, and that's my JV consulting training, which you're going to get also. So what's the next step? Here's the thing, guys. If you're serious, ask yourself this. What is it really costing you to stay where you are? Okay, not what is it costing you to attend my bootcamp. So what I want you to do, if you're really interested, submit your application below. You go to www.jvconsultingbusiness.com/bootcamp. Okay, remember, you're not going to be paying $10,000 for this bootcamp. You're going to be paying a lot less. But what I need you to do first of all is submit your application so we can see if the program is right for you. Okay, and I'll take you through the program step by step how it works. If you have any questions, you can answer them all on the call, and we'll see if the program is right for you. And like I said, I've only got limited places available on both bootcamps. So if you want to go to that URL now, www.jvconsultingbusiness.com/bootcamp, and then just submit your details in that form. And one of my team will set up a one-to-one call with me when I can tell you more about the program, the one in Las Vegas and in London. So if you've got any questions for me, guys, you're welcome to put them in the chat box right now. If you've got any questions about the bootcamp, or any questions about the training, I'm here to help. So if you want to fire away, guys, now is your chance, opportunity to ask me any questions you want. But again, if you're interested in attending any of those boot camps, and like I said, you're not going to be paying the $10,000 fee that I normally charge. I'm going to be doing something special for you guys, but you need to submit your application first, so you can go and call me and I can tell you more about how that works at www.jvconsultingbusiness.com/bootcamp. So anyone got any questions for me, guys? If you've got any questions you want to ask me, you're welcome to do that. Any questions to do with business, joint ventures, the bootcamp, I can answer those for you. Okay, so Josh says, do you ever get opportunities to help companies grow to be acquired? Yes, all the time. One of the things that I'm doing a lot of right now, Josh, is I'm doing consulting for equity. So I'm doing consulting for equity is what I do a lot of. Vaughan says, can you briefly explain the 9K retainer? Now, Vaughan, I know you're attending my bootcamp in Las Vegas, so I'm going to tell you more about it at the bootcamp, but typically what we do is, and I'll tell you guys right now, we do a 6-month project or 6-month retainer, and we charge a basic retainer, monthly retainer fee, and then we make our money on the commission or on the revenue share. So most of the bulk of our fee is based on the revenue share, but we have a retainer in place for cash flow as well. So, you know, one of the things that I did when I first started was, as a broker, I did brokering on a commission basis. But what I'm seeing now more is we're doing a lot of consulting, marketing, and brokering, and for that there's a retainer that's in place. So the 9K retainer is a 6-month project that we work with the client to find them joint venture and strategic partners. So I hope that answers the question, Vaughan. And like I said, when I see you at the bootcamp in Vegas, I'm going to show you the exact strategy and system that we're using to do that. It's pretty cool. And like I said, you know, you're pretty much getting your investment back just from that one strategy. And I'm going to be sharing some really cool stuff with you at the bootcamp. So I'm glad to have you on board. Jim says, I'll see if I can make the one in London. Have a JV with new invention for all air conditioners. Jim, I'd love to have you in London. Let's do this. If you can just send me an email and I'll get on a call with you and I'll see what I can do to get you over to the bootcamp in London. But yeah, I'd love to have you there, my friend. But yes, Jim, if you do that, just email me directly, thejvexpert@gmail.com, and we'll see if we can get you there. Okay, Kerry says, hey Sahal, I'm working on setting up JVs with accounting firms, but having trouble getting them across the line. You know, accounting firms are the most difficult firms to do JVs with, right? Because they are they're very, very particular on who has access to their clients. Okay, so accounting firms are very, very. You have to prove yourself first to accounting firms, right? By helping them or do something for them. So the way to get into accounting firms to do JVs with them is to help them with something first. Once you've gained their trust, then it's easy. But trust me, as an ex-accountant, I've worked with accounting firms. Very, very difficult. Very, very difficult. But like I said, one of the strategies that I have that I give to all my students is my book strategy, my white label book. And the book basically gets our foot in the door and gets us into accounting firms. So that's a pretty cool thing to do. So I hope that answers your question. Any more questions? Any more questions? Yeah, thanks for that, Josh. I will take a look at that. Do you know which website that is that you're referring to? Yeah. I have quite a lot of websites, by the way, Josh. Okay, some really good questions here, guys. Oh, okay, yeah, I'll have a look at that. I think that website is just a landing page, so that's not my main website. Um, my main website's not based on there. It's just a landing page. But if you want my main website, just type my name into Google, and my main website will be there. Okay. Vaughan says, since I don't have any strong credibility, is it hard to get the first client? No, Vaughan, using my instant credibility system is not a problem. And also, don't forget, I work with you. In the first 90 days of the program, we're pretty much partners. So you can mention my name, or you can bring me onto a call that you're having with a potential client, and I can help you close a deal, right? That's what you get on my program for the first 90 days. I literally hold your hand to help you close deals, right? Because that's my commitment to you. If you commit to me, I commit to you as well. And that's what I do, and it's very important we do that over the first 90 days. So yeah, you get that on the program, which is quite phenomenal, really, isn't it? What I've charged for the program, for the bootcamp. Okay, any more questions, guys? Like I said, if any of you guys are interested, please go to www.jvconsultingbusiness.com/bootcamp. Fill in your details there. One of my team will organize a call, and you know what? Let's just have a call and see how I can help you guys. Vaughan says, "Great call, thanks." No, Vaughan, thank you for thank you for your commitment and committing yourself to my bootcamp. So I'm really looking forward to seeing you in Vegas, and Jim, looking forward to seeing you in London as well. So that's great. So we already have a few people there actually on the webinar that have signed up for the bootcamp. And the bootcamp does get full, guys. So if any of you guys are interested, do fill in your details there, and we can jump on a call and I can tell you more about it. And if any of you guys are hesitating because of the fee, don't worry about the fee. Okay, just get on a call, talk to me. I'll see what I can do for you. Okay, I'd love to have you guys there at the bootcamp. So I'll see what I can do for you guys. I see a lot of people here. That I know. Okay, guys, if you've got any more questions for me, please put them in the chat box. Otherwise, we'll probably end up wrapping up the webinar. And look, thank you for staying to the end. What I'm also going to do is I have all your emails, and I will send you guys the bonuses I promised, and you'll get a copy of that along with the replay of this webinar. First of all, could you give me some feedback? How did you guys find the training? Is it something that you think you guys can apply in terms of what you're doing already? And has any of my case studies or anything I've mentioned on the webinar helped you? Or I do really hope it does. Brilliant. Yeah, I mean, Josh, definitely let me know what you're doing. You're welcome to send me an email, Josh, if you want, to the jvexpert@gmail.com. And I could always set up a call for us if you want me to just have a chat with you and see see how I can help. Or if I don't mind. I mean, I don't mind getting on a call just to see how I can help you out. But of course, scheduled with your Okay, brilliant, excellent, Josh. Thank you for that. Okay, you've signed up. Brilliant. Excellent. Yeah, good. Yeah, I'd be interested to just have a call with you and chat. And yeah, if you're interested in the boot camp, that's even better. Sandy, we need to touch base. I would like to see you at my next boot camp, if possible. Uh, Steve says, hi Steve, hi Steve, still interested from Canada. Steve, can you get yourself over to Vegas? Are you available on those dates? Do those dates work for you? Do you think you can get yourself over to Vegas if I could do something special for you? Okay, so just to let you know, Steve, if you did want to get on a call anyway, I'd be happy to speak to you. So you're welcome to put your details in the contact form, and you know what, we can get on a call anyway. I'd be interested in just have a chat with you in terms of what you're doing right now, because obviously you are interested in the boot camp, so that's great. Thanks, Josh. Thanks for the recommendation. I think I do need to probably have a look at that. Yeah, this is an old mic that I have, but I don't really do webinars like every week. So, all right, guys, I really hope you found the training very, very useful, and you're still here, which is surprising. Okay, again, like I say, if you're interested, put your details in the contact form at jvconsultingbusiness.com/bootcamp. Otherwise, we will end the call. Yes, Judith, it'd be great to catch up with yourself too. I mean, we are due, we are definitely due a catch up. So I think we should get on a call, definitely. Uh, Josh says thanks again. And okay, brilliant. I think that's it then, guys. If we have got any more questions, please put them in the chat box now. Otherwise, I'll wrap up this webinar and get the recording sorted out so I can get the replay out to you guys tomorrow. Okay, but I think that's it. I think we'll wrap up now. And look, thank you very much, so much for attending my webinar today. I'm so grateful for you guys. And wherever you are in the world, have a lovely evening, afternoon, or morning. And I'll speak to you guys soon. So take care. Bye-bye.